Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here and joining us today for the session about how to prepare for Singles Day. We know that it's more than 2 months ahead of time, so people might think already thinking about Singles Day, where actually today it is another shopping festival because it's the 9th of the 9th, and Jack Ma has claimed that to be International Wine Day because Zhou, the number 9 in Chinese, sounds also like alcohol. So fun fact. But yes, it's September, but you should be thinking about Single Day already. And today we will talk about that a bit more in detail. I'm Daphne. I'm the founder and CEO of Chaoly and webshop in China. And I'm here with my colleague.
Hi, everyone. I'm David. I'm the data analyst from Chowli.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I've been working for many consumable products, and I'm here to share my experience and knowledge.
Yes, and the reason why we do that is because obviously everyone online, we'll start it here as well. Everyone thinks about this picture on the left when you hear about Singles Day, right? So even in the newspaper in the Netherlands, where I'm originally from, everyone's talking about Singles Day and such a big success it is for brands. However, the reality is mostly to be on the right. If you don't prepare well, your store, your online store will stay empty and you'll find that the sales do not come in. And that's what we want to prevent. We want to have that best case scenario on the left-hand side where everyone's screaming for your products. And how to do that, we will tell you a bit more later on. But first, some things about where we are coming from and the experience that we have with Singles Day. Because about 8 years ago, we actually started with our own online store called the Daphne Holland store, selling baby and mother care products on Tmall's biggest competitor, Jingdong. And while doing so, obviously, as our own store owner, we had to deal with the Singles Day. And then a lot of brands approached us and asked us if we could set up and run their online stores. So we acted as a TP, a Tmall partner called Webshop in China, helping other brands to become successful online. And while doing so, we realized that China is a super competitive market and it's not easy to succeed. So if you want to win from the competition, an important aspect is learning about the Chinese market because everything works completely different. So it's important to understand what is happening with your brand. And that's why right now we've solely focused on Chaoly, which is our built in-house data analytics platform that helps our brands to monitor their performance on all online channels, not just e-commerce, but also social media and search. And basically analyze it, benchmark it against their competitors in order for them to optimize their results. And so we work with a lot of brands, but also TPs. And from our experience with years of Singles Day, we're happy to tell you a little bit more about the best practices. We do so also by looking at the funnel, which is created by Tmall, right? We all know the marketing funnel. You have different variations of it. Sometimes it starts with awareness and then consideration and conversion. But the way how Tmall puts it is 4 layers, where you first look at the awareness. How do consumers know about your brand online? Then how do they show their interest by either adding to cart or to favorites? Followed, hopefully and luckily, of course, by the purchase, and then turning them into loyal customers. Because we all know that acquiring new customers is way more expensive than upselling and having your recurring customers coming in. So we'll use this funnel throughout the presentation. So yeah, let's get started. I'm just wondering, let's start perhaps with a poll, if that's okay, to see why is everyone here? I'll get the questions because I'm also interested to see the audience here. Why are you guys here attending the seminar? So let's see. I guess we have a few options. I'm just looking at my colleagues, whether the online is going smooth as well. Yeah, good. So the online, the first one is, well, why are you attending this seminar? Is because I work for a brand that is active on Tmall. Hands up. Yeah, anyone? Yes, absolutely. And then work for a brand and we're considering to enter China. That's most likely for the audience online, right? Across the world, not active yet, but wanting to know more. I work for a TP, a Tmall partner, or perhaps a marketing agency, and you just want to learn more about the best practices. Yeah, see some hands. And the other one, the last part is perhaps you're just interested in China and Singles Day. Yes, and then also then welcome. Happy to have you all here. How about the division online? Is that more or less the same? Do we have like a wide, diverse range of people attending online?
Yeah, it seems like most of the attendees are active brands that are active on Tmall.
Okay,
One
good.
person who's just interested in China and Singles.
Good. Well, one person just interested, welcome. But happy to see a lot of brands active in China, because then indeed you came to the right place. And let's get started. Let's have a look at the agenda for today. So first we'll talk a short time frame about the shopping festivals in China, but then looking into the most exciting part, which is Singles Day. We created a checklist for you and a timeline to understand how things are different this year. Obviously, the strategy planning, David, you'll take that part on you, and the next steps for you to prepare well. Yeah, let's get started. A full agenda today. First part, the shopping festivals. So unlike the West, where we have some traditional days during the year, like Christmas or Valentine's Day, traditionally, China didn't have that many holidays where people would buy gifts for each other. And obviously, to promote shopping, the e-commerce platforms figured it's important to have a shopping festival. Now, it wouldn't be China if there's not just one or two, but like many big shopping festivals. We won't go through all of them, but there's a few ones that are interesting to remember, right? So obviously, we'll have the shopping festivals related to Chinese New Year, which is either in January or February. Then in May, we have the so-called Chinese Valentine's Day, Wu Erling, which basically sounds as Wo Ai Ni. Sorry for my Chinese pronunciation, but it means I love you, and it resembles, right, that sound. So the Valentine Days is over there. And then June has the second biggest shopping festival. It's called 618, referring to June the 18th, which is D-Day for Jingdong. It's the biggest competitor of Alibaba. It's their birthday, I believe. And so they started that festival. But as you would see with Singles Day, it's not just on one platform. By now, all the major platforms take over and participate. The big ones related obviously also to the Singles Day in November, and then December, there's two events related to Christmas, and even on New Year's Eve, people will be ready to get ready for shopping at midnight because a lot of deals will come in. By the way, we will share slide deck, so no need to take the notes from here. We'll happily share them with you. So let's have a look at the Singles Day. Well, we all know that it's a year-on-year rapid growth, right? And the GMV, the online sales has reached staggering amounts, things that even Black Friday dreams of. What was different last year, because Tmall proclaimed that it had like a more than 80% growth compared to the year before. And remember, it was COVID year, right? But what they did very smart is that for the first time, they didn't just have one day, the 11th of November, had two waves. So basically, they made the shopping period so much longer, and thereby also getting more sales. And this is something that we will see this year as well. Yeah, David, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. So for the brands and the TPs, we have prepared a checklist for you. So it's very easy to understand. The first thing on our list is that everything starts with a target. So first thing we should recommend you to do is to set an overall sales target. The target needs to be realistic and you can have two references. The first reference is you can refer to the sales revenue you made in your June 18th festival. And secondly, you can consider the sales amount in the last year, Double 11. So ideally, that's the sales you could make in the Double 11 shopping festival also is determined by your sales performance in September and October. That is a reflection of your sales actually in this period. So setting a sales target, you will have these references to help you. And after that is done, the second thing we normally do is that you can break down your sales target onto the product level. The first thing you might want to do is that you need to categorize your products into different groups, and each group of product will serve its own purpose. For example, you will have your hero products, which will drive most of the traffic into the store, as well as contributing most to the sales. And then you will also have your specialty products, and you will also have your new arrivals. And then you will also have some long tail products, which may not be promoting heavily on price discount. Finally, you may have some products which you need to get rid of the stock clearance, right? So after you made a categorization of your product portfolio, you can simply break the sales target down onto each group or even on each product. Then you will also need to determine the pricing strategy. For example, what kind of discount to what level are you giving to each product group? Yeah. And after that, I think you might want to consider which product to enroll in the platform-wide campaigns. So Double 11 works like this. So Tmall will purchase a lot of traffic from external sources. So they will create a very huge buzz. And all the people coming into the website, they will have a landing page. Some people will land on a non-product specific page. For example, they will enter from the home page, and these traffic will get easily accessed through if you participate in the platform-wide events. For example, if your products are enrolled in such events, you will have more traffic. Or you can simply enroll some products that you can only participate in in store-wide events. That's also possible. And to do the enrollment, you can simply ask your TP to do that, but you need to discuss with them what products to enroll in the platform-wide, while what products not to enroll.
Yeah, and keep in mind that that's almost happening, right? So this is already Tmall opens up for enrollment the end of this month, end of September, beginning of October. So put that in your calendars because you don't want to miss out on the official Tmall platform registration.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and what's next? You should also work on the basics. For example, your listing and your store optimizations. This can be done via different ways. For example, you can add new images and new videos, which is specific to your campaign. And remember that some advertisements are also, you can use videos. So if you can prepare some new videos, that can be the asset you can use for advertisement, as well as adding to your product listing page. Both of the methodology will help to increase conversion rate during the campaign period. Yeah. And also you might want to also optimize your targeting keywords of your advertisement, as well as refining the targeted audience. What's next? Then I think the most important thing perhaps is to prepare sufficient inventory, right? Especially for sellers who import product from overseas, you might want to take into consideration of the longer lead time, right? Especially during the COVID period, everything takes longer. So I think the time is really quite urgent. Maybe you should start now, as soon as possible, to prepare the inventory for the shopping festival. Your hero products, you should especially pay attention to those products because you never know how much you could sell during the event. So at least I would say put a big buffer on your stock level. And also Tmall also have a deadline. Before that, you can replenish your inventory. So that will be announced at a later stage. But normally during the campaign season, they will not allow you to send new shipments to the warehouse. So better do that sooner than later. Right. And the next thing you might want to do is to review your TP's marketing plan and provide some feedback. A standard marketing plan will contain content at least from the following 4 aspects: sales, product, marketing, and customer plan. Right? So review the plan from those 4 aspects and discuss with the TP if anything is unclear or you're not comfortable with. Finally, I think it's very important thing is to prepare enough funds for advertisement budget. We have been hearing some TPs complaining that during the campaign season, there is no sufficient funds on the marketing account, and that is not a good thing. So make sure that the funds are transferred prior to the campaign start. So this is an easy checklist. And after that, let's talk about the actual timeline of this year's Double 11. So as mentioned before, this year is also split into 2 waves. Wave 1, Wave 2. Wave 1 is slightly longer, while Wave 2 has less dates. So Wave 1 actually starts in October, on October the 21st. So the first important message, because most people think that Double 11 it must be in November, but in reality, it's not often the case. So the pre-sales actually starts from October the 21st, meaning that consumers, they can start to pay down payment and add products to cart. And the sales warm-up in parallel will start on October the 29th. Will end on October the 31st, while at 12 a.m. midnight, the sales will officially kick off on November the 1st. And it will last for 3 days. And
so
then
that's the moment that all consumers are waiting for, right? That's
Yes.
when the big discounts are first happening.
yes, I
Yeah.
believe that a lot of people, they will stay up late and they will set alarm clock to make sure they don't fall asleep and clear the
I will
shopping
do
carts.
that. Absolutely. Clear my cards. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, then that's the time you expect you have a lot of sales during the time. And then there is a pause for 6 days. Well, from the consumer's end, they're still looking at what product they could buy in a second wave. But on the seller's end, you will see that this is a period where nothing happens in sales, but you should keep advertising at the same time, right? And until November 11th, the big day, when the final gala will be on, right? Then you will have celebrities, you'll get it together, they'll have huge events, and then it will reach a peak in sales as well. Right?
Yeah. So James Bond gets ready, Katy Perry,
Yep.
like everyone's helping out to on the evening before, make sure that everyone's ready for the big finale. Indeed. Yeah. Great. Yeah. So indeed, I mean, this is the timeline in short. Perhaps good to mention here, right? Also the breakdown. So normally it's 40 or no, it's 60-40. Yeah. 60% in the first wave and then 40% in the second wave is normally the split between the sales. So don't just only look at that November 11 date. Yeah, we'll look into a bit more like the actual planning, right? So which part of the cycle are you in, which tools to use and what should be your objective and your KPIs along the funnel. Because every part of the planning has a different function, so to say.
Exactly.
But in terms of planning, I'm very curious. Can we do another poll, one more, to see indeed, like in terms of preparations? I have the questions here, so let's see. How prepared are you for Singles Day? First of all, it would be, I'm not sure my team or my TP is working on this. The other one is, oh no, we haven't prepared yet. We don't know where to start. The third one is, oh, we're fully prepared. We can't wait for Double 11. Yeah, bring it on. Well, the last one is not applicable because I'm not actually participating in Singles Day. I'm looking here, like, are we prepared? Do you feel prepared? Yeah? Yeah. Good. How about the people joining in the webinar? I hope that people are prepared. But
yes, but no one is. Okay, yeah.
we're waiting for the results to come in. Let's see. If everyone's prepared, we might as well go home, but I don't think that's the case.
The majority is we haven't prepared yet. We don't know where to start.
Ooh,
Okay.
we haven't prepared yet. Well, then here we are. Yeah, great that you joined. So let's
Mhm.
see how to prepare, right? Like starting with pricing and then going into the planning. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yep. So the pricing strategy for Level 11, right? So we first need to understand what is the minimum requirement for Tmall. So in order to participate, let's say in the platform-wide campaigns, Tmall requires at least 10% off your lowest price within the last 30 days. But actually, in reality, most sellers, they give much heavier discount than only 10% on last lowest price. So the industry average level is about 50% off your nominal price. So most of the brands feels concerned that, let's say that I don't feel really good to give such big heavy price discounts. Is that going to damage my brand image? But there is different ways to do that. First of all, you can do direct discount on your stock price, or alternatively, you could do in a format of coupons. And coupon, there are so many formats. There are platform-wide coupon that can be applied on consumers' basket whenever how many shops you're purchasing from, or there are store-level coupons, and some stores, they will set up CRM coupons to award their loyalty customers. Some of them are hidden coupons, right? And you can also do things like a gift repurchase or giveaways or like sample giveaways. There are so many tools that you can play around to offer a customer to increase conversion, right?
Yeah, it's good to indeed realize that it doesn't necessarily have to be like the big discount visible from your stock price, but that there's ways around it, because many brands do care about their positioning. Many Western brands are premium positioned. And one of our previous clients, when we were still acting as a TP, was actually a fashion brand, Suit Supply, where it was a company policy to not give any discounts globally. However, in China, the things work different, right? It's kind of like a different ball game. So the first year is very tricky because they couldn't join any promotions for the fact that they didn't have any price discounts. And I think over the years, they started also to realize that even if it's just your stock clearance or any items, not your best sellers, but like some long tail items, it's good to have some discounts so that that will attract traffic to the store. And I saw last year that a big part was actually the women line of Suit Supply. So I was very happy myself to see that participating those items in Double 11. So yeah, let's see then about the planning, the detailed planning. I think there's a lot of information here on this slide. Do not worry. We're going to break it down phase by phase, right? And you will get the slides later on, but this is like the big, the how to say, the planning Bible, so to say, but go ahead.
Okay, so don't worry about this. We'll break this down, but some tips we would already want to share is that there are some marketing tools here mentioned, right? But basically all the tools will be on. It's just a matter of what to emphasize, right? Why don't we start with a preparation stage? So if you go to the band, for example, in mid-October, you probably see the advertisements sponsored by Tmall in one of the buildings there. So the Tmall do this to fit two purposes. First of all, remind customer that Double 11 is getting sooner, right? The second purpose is to increase the new repeating customer base entering to the Tmall app during the campaign season. So I think for sellers, we should do exactly the same thing. We should start early to start promoting for our stores, because we simply cannot just hoping that customer, they will enter automatically during the Double 11 period. We must take some lead time into consideration, right? So when should we start promoting for it? Our recommendation is that we should start from October the 1st. The reason for that is because the purchase cost for traffic. So it depends on the size of the company. So if you're from a super large company, that you might want to do both online and offline campaigns. For example, you might go for outdoor advertisement as well as leveraging social media advertisement, and you can invest also on Tmall, right? But for medium to small size companies, we would recommend just using the Tmall advertisement tools. Yeah. So the first stage is preparation stage, right? So it actually starts from October the 1st till the 20th. The 21 just before the pre-sale starts. So in this stage, we must be very clear what is the objective. So the key thing we should want to achieve during this stage is to engage with new customers, because this period has 20 days, and this is you can take this opportunity to increase the new customer base. So what are the key metrics to look at? It's very simple, because during this phase, customer, they will not simply convert into sales, as the price is not at the lowest level yet. But what they will do along the funnel is that, first of all, they will entering the awareness layer. So they start to realize that about your brand. And if they like your products, one action they might want to take is to add it to cart or add it to favorite. So they will start to become an interested customer, right? So this is exactly the layers we want to work on during the first stage. So what products to advertise to this customer? We would recommend advertising your bestsellers to new customer. The reason is very simple, because new customers, they have little knowledge about your store, about your products, that they don't know what to buy. So they're likely to follow the mainstream. So if you advertise your top 3 bestsellers to them, there's a very high chance that they're gonna add it to favorite or to cart, right? So what tools to use then? We would recommend using search CPC ads, for example, like Express Train, and you can also use display ads, for example, Super Recommendation or AdBreak. Yeah. So all of these things are to ensure one objective is customer will add products to cart and add to favorite. So the key metrics to look at, apart from those absolute numbers, also the ratio and the marginal cost. For example, how much percentage of customer clicking to the ad are adding things to favorite to cart, as well as what is the marginal cost I pay, whether it's 10 RMB to generate one add to cart, or it's 15 RMB or 5 RMB. Normally, you should be paying not too much, because we already started early. So we would assume that the marginal cost is not too high. Otherwise, we might want to optimize our ad tools. In the second phase, we have the wave 1 pre-sales and warm-up. So what is the difference between pre-sales and warm-up? So pre-sales, they are different in a sense that the call to action to customers. For example, the pre-sales, it will require customers to make a down payment during the period. While a warm-up, the customer, what they can do is to simply add it to cart. No down payment is needed. But for sellers' perspective, it's also different, because the SKUs you enroll in pre-sales versus warm-up stage are separated. Products participating in pre-sales cannot be sold within the first couple of hours during the warm-up sales. So that's something you might want to take into consideration when you do the product enrollment. So during the pre-sale stage, the key metrics we're looking at is, again, add to cart, add to favorite, ratio, and marginal cost. But we might want to fulfill one extra goal, which is also to remind our store's existing visitors. So for every store, you have your loyalty customers, and you might want to remind them that, hey, we have a price discount very soon, and you might want to add products to watch list. So what you can do at this stage is that you can advertise your specialty products, or even your new arrivals, or your long tail products to them, because they're likely they have already purchased your bestsellers. So to them, I think long tail or specialty products are more of interest. Yeah, and the tools we can use at this moment is, of course, search, display, but you can also add brand-specific tools such as Product Treasure or Star Shop. Right? Those tools will allow you to capture a premium display position and also displaying customer who are searching for brand-specific keywords. Before the final sales kickoff, we are always advertising a huge percentage of our ad budget on broad keywords. For example, category keywords like beer. If you're in apparel, you may want to go for men's clothing, women's clothing, jeans, shirts, those broad keywords. Or at later stage during the conversion period, you might want to go for very specific keywords such as brand related or model name related keywords. Yeah. Main tools to advertise. So we have seen search, display, ad tools, but what are the tools that we are not yet recommended for this stage? For example, diamond banner. Diamond banner has the best position of display. It will display on the homepage of people's mobile phone, right? But diamond banner in recent years, the CPC cost is driven up very high. So at this stage, since the main objective is not yet conversion, but just to generate add to cart, add to favorites, so we might want to think of using the more affordable tools, right? Such as super recommendation, right? That tool is very good for giving you a huge amount of impression. Yeah. So we might want to use the cheaper tools. While during the conversion period, we will switch to more high conversion rate tools. So let's start with a case study, right? This case study is about how to use pre-sales effectively. We have mentioned that pre-sales will allow customer to show their interest by making a down payment. So down payment is normally 5 to 10% of the full price, and they will complete the full payment on the sales kickoff date. So we have example from a mobile phone brand, which they have A/B tested 2 options, but both options are actually the customer paying for the same price. Option A is that they are offering a price discount of -900 as a coupon on the listed price of 5,888. So to customer, it feels like, well, the brand is giving 15% off. Well, whether that's a good or bad, maybe it's a so-so attractive level, right? But option B is that they use the pre-sales, because pre-sales always require a down payment. They say if you pay 100 RMB as deposit, it will enlarge to 1,000, and 1,000 can be deducted from the final checkout price. So to customer, it feels like the down payment will increase by 1,000%. It sounds like a lot, but they end up with paying the same amount of money. And you can even add on top saying that the first 100 customer who pay the down payment, you will get your parcel earlier than your other customers, right? So this is then a good example to, just by rephrasing your pricing strategy, by leveraging pre-sales, you can increase conversion rate.
Yeah, and it's really good because indeed they do like A/B testing. So we always recommend that. There is no golden formula in China, but see what works and what resonates best with your target audience. So in this way, simply stating the discount in a different way made a huge impact on the conversion and the interested customer. So very smart indeed. And we highly suggest every brand to see what works best for you in there.
Yeah, in our past projects, we have been helping clients to set up A/B testing to optimize their sales performance and increase conversion rate.
Yeah.
And now this is the big day of wave 1. Between November the 1st and the 3rd, the sales finally kick off. So you will see a lot of orders coming through starting from midnight, right? And in this phase, for sellers to make sure that you reach maximize conversion rate, the objective is very clear. So you would like to convert previously accumulated existing plus potential customers into sales, right? So the product to advertise becomes clear. So you would like to advertise the wave 1 campaign products. So those must be your hero products, and the tools to use are very simple. Whichever tools gives you good conversion rate, you can start to use. For example, in certain industries, they're using diamond banner because it captures a premium position on your mobile phone screen, right? And ad break. And also apart from that, live streaming is very useful as well, because live streaming creates an engagement with your potential customer to persuade them into buying things. And the key metric to look at is also very concentrated. First of all, sales revenue, and conversion rate, and also ROAS. In terms of ROAS, we would like to recommend that at least aiming for ROAS over 2, otherwise the profitability might not be so good, right? So ROAS is indeed very important.
So just to say ROAS, return on advertisement spend, for those who don't know it, right? So every renminbi you spend in advertisement, how much sales would you get?
At least 2 RMB, right?
At least 2 RMB.
To reach a healthy ratio.
Right. So that was wave one. That was a long wave with like a peak on November 1st until 3rd.
Yes.
With 60% most likely of your sales coming in during that wave.
Yeah. And during the wave one, the sales kickoff, normally you don't advertise to your new customers, because that's like a long distance, like it's a long shot. So what you do instead is that advertising to your low-hanging fruit customer, like those who already know your brand, who add the products to cart to favorite, right? Yeah, and also your loyalty existing customers. And then between November the 4th to the 10th, it's wave 2 pre-sales and warm-up. It's similar to the wave 1 period, except that the days are actually shortened. It's only 7 days in total. And during this day, we would recommend you start, first of all, with a review of your current stock level, because your bestsellers might be sold a lot of items, a lot of units. So you might want to understand that what is your current stock situation, right? And also you would like to know your product performance in terms of conversion rate, like average stay time, like bounce rate, what is the UV they're getting, as well as how is the ad performing, right? So take the time to make adjustment whenever necessary. And also during this period is the last chance to engage with the new customers, people who are new to a shop. So similar to wave 1 pre-sales and warm-up, you can advertise using like super recommendation, use express train, targeting broad keywords, so to attract new customer to the store, right? But one thing you should also do is that you should also target at people who didn't purchase during wave 1. This is very important, that maybe they're just too busy. They're occupied by busy with purchasing other products, you know, but these are like people still, you can inform them that they need to come back to take a look, right?
So you can specifically target those that
Yes.
have products in their baskets.
Exactly.
And remind them to purchase your products.
Yes.
Very effective way that leads to a high conversion rate using those tools. So highly recommended.
Yes. In terms of what products to advertise, if you're like still advertising to your new customers, new to shop customers, use your bestsellers, or alternatively, you can advertise wave 2 campaign products to your all audiences. And the key metrics to look at, since that there will be no sales during this period, only add to cart, add to favorite, as well as the marginal cost and add to cart ratio. Well, here we would like to share another case study. This is actually a very localized brand called Waylon. Like it's a snack brand. Like if you're a Chinese, probably you must know about this brand, right? So they sell in a very competing industry, in the food and snack, in a sense that the average unit price is already very low. So there are very little things they can do during Double 11 to offer massive price discount. It's impossible to do that because it's already very cheap. So how do they, what is their like sales warm-up strategy? So they take a very interesting approach. First of all, from a consumer perspective, you always feel that you want to use the maximum from the platform-wide coupons. Let's say that if Tmall gives you a coupon, you shop for 400 RMB, you get 50%, you get 50 RMB off, and now you're reaching 370. So you only need 330 RMB to be able to use the coupon.
That always happens to me. I'm this close to getting my discounts, but I still miss some a purchase.
Yes. So yeah, customer needs a small order to be able to use the coupons. So Waylon takes a different approach. So they have been advertising this banner during the campaign pre-sales season. They use this this Russian
Tetris.
game.
Yes.
Right. So if you add our product to cart, then you will get 50% RMB off. So this is their, they created a scenario. So they, instead of emphasizing on the selling point of their product, because they assume that people all know about them, they emphasize on the benefits where you can actually pay nothing. Well, you can even save money by purchasing their items. So this creates an interesting indication. So if you are a seller in, let's say, FMCG products, for example, if you sell shampoos or like products like everybody needs, you can use a similar approach to attract your customers, because customers always need a small amount to be able to use the discount. And then on the November the 11th, we have the Wave 2 sales kickoff. And this is again the big date, right? You will have, so we were expecting a lot of sales to happen. So again, the tools to use are, we prioritize on the high conversion rate tools, such as Diamond Banner, AdBrain, live streaming. And also you might want to remind your customer by SMS. If you are able to get your repeating customers' mobile phone number, you can do a SMS campaign to remind them to add products to cart. And this has been proven to work very well to increase conversion rate.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. So basically, if you follow the whole the plan step by step, then you're set up for success. Yeah, thanks, David, for sharing. I guess based on the best practices, some of the TPs and the brands that did well. Let's see for you in the audience and online, obviously, what would be the next steps? How can you prepare well? So I guess within our team and within the company, we normally say that there's 4 important plans, so to say, or things to prepare for Singles Day. So one of them, or first one, is you need setting your targets. David already mentioned, right? If you don't have your targets, it's like steering without a direction. Like, what do you aim for? Look at your previous results. Look perhaps at what competitors have done in the past. Look at your 618 results and see what is a realistic yet ambitious target to reach. And the target, not just sales wise, but also look at the traffic that is necessary, the average order value and the price setting, and the conversion rate, obviously, because that, these factors all contribute to reaching your sales targets ultimately. So that's your sales strategy. And you need to have a breakdown then with your product plan, right? Keeping enough stock is extremely important, and not just for Singles Day, but also for the days to come or the weeks to come. Take into consideration your sales through. You don't want to sell out, not during Singles Day, but also not during the days afterwards, because not having any stock means that your ranking on Tmall is significantly lower, and you need to rebuild your SEO, your organic ranking again, and that would be a shame. So think about it not just for the Singles Day, but also for the weeks after, until you have enough stock. So we would normally suggest that take the items that you want to sell in order to reach your target, and then double the amount to be on the safe side, at least to have enough stock. That's the product plan. Then moving on is obviously the marketing budget plan, right? We have all those tools to use. We now know when to use them, but create a plan. Have your TP or your team work on that. See the budget, see which tools, when to use, and that all comes into the marketing budget plan. And then the customers, the old ones, the new ones, which tools and how to reach out to them to engage them. So yeah, you'll most likely work with your TP, and they should have this ready. And then there's a few questions that you can ask them to challenge them, right? So ask them first to prepare those plans, and we can share like a template with you. And then these questions all relate to that, right? See what is their target. Ask where they base it on. Look at the product and the inventory strategy. And then, yeah, most importantly, what is the plan to reach those sales? Because simply leaning back and hoping or expecting the sales to come in simply for Singles Day is not a good, how to say, good strategy or a good approach. And trust me, we did have customers that just simply because it was about to become 11/11, they were excited and thought, oh, we're now waiting for sales to come in. But basically, Singles Day is the big finale of everything that you have done in September and in October, right? So this preparation phase is important for you to reach your target, and your TP should have that plan in place. Yeah, and together set those price levels, consider the different ways of having the discounts, and yes, work your numbers to make sure that I would say at least minimize your losses and see how you can make the best out of Singles Day. Because yeah, because we all know that the consumers and Alibaba is often the big winner of this shopping festival. Well, for us, what we, it's the last part, just really want to emphasize is that measuring during the campaign and understanding your performance during the campaign is extremely important. Oftentimes, brands will just simply wait for the results to come in, but especially this year, because there are 2 waves, it's a longer period of time. You want to take corrective action in the meantime, right? So it starts with monitoring. When we're looking at the funnel, where do you create your awareness, right? To have your KPIs related to that. How many visitors have you attracted? How many new ones? How many old ones? And if you're not only active on Tmall, but you're also using social media channels, you want to connect the dots and see the engagement and the traffic that comes in from the out channels and look at it from the in channel, the e-commerce channels. I'll track against your budget, and that we mean with the budget that you have for your marketing campaigns. Very often we see that TPs don't end up spending the budget, and then they also justify a lower amount of sales because they hadn't spent the whole budget. But that is the other way around, right? It's that reverse logic. They should spend all the budget because that budget is needed for you to reach your sales targets. So look at it, which tools are used, and then continuously optimize, especially after wave 1 is a great moment in time to reflect. But actually during the campaign period, we suggest you to have it tracked on a daily basis. Now we know that often TPs only report, well, if you're lucky, once a week, or maybe even once a month. And that's why with Chaoly, we have a campaign tracker dashboard that actually allows you to see which tools are used, is the keywords on, the express train or diamond banner, so that on a daily basis, even though you don't speak or read Chinese, you still understand which tools are being used and what is the ROAS, or what are any other of the important KPIs that you want to be measuring. We call them like the leading KPIs that you can impact, that you can influence, which all results in a lagging KPI sales. And that's what we want to have in. Yeah, feel free to reach out to us. If you want to know more indeed about the campaign tracker, we're happy. David and our team is happy to, especially for the ones who haven't prepared yet. We can have a 30-minute call to go over your strategy that would work for you and see how that works with your TP. We no longer act as one, but because we were a TP before, we know how to speak the language and how that works. And yeah, follow us also on WeChat. We will share a case study. We will share some of the templates that are needed to prepare well. I think that's it for now. Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for attending. Well, we have time for some questions. So Gabby, are there any specific questions that we want to be answering? Also here, everyone offline, obviously, feel free to raise your hand and see how we can be of help for the last part. I would say the last 5 minutes of the session. I hope it was of use. Yeah, we did the best to share the best practices we had, right?
We have much more to share. If you have any specific question, just let us know.
Yes.
Some
Leave it a message.
questions coming in.
Good.
Cool.
Tell us, which one would you throw at us.
So one question here is, would you suggest keywords as well or more CPC?
So one question is, would you suggest keywords or more CPC? So I think keywords in general is one of the advertising tools, right? We normally would say like express train, because that is the direct translation in Chinese, whereas CPC stands for cost per click. So that is actually the measurement, the cost that you have per click on either a keyword, but you can also measure the cost per click when people click a banner, right? So I would say the CPC is really the key metrics that indicates the costs that you have.
Yeah. Well, in terms of express train, definitely that you need to increase the number of keywords you use, especially during the pre-sales period where you need more new visitors. Therefore, you might want to add more broad keywords, category keywords into the list to make sure that more people can be approached, right, when they search certain keywords.
Okay, good.
How do we effectively know whether the TP is prepared? Is it just asking the questions that you guys suggested, or are there some additional responsibilities that we should, double check?
Yeah, good question. So how do we know if the TP prepares well? I think just in general, not just for Singles Day, but the whole reason why we also created Chaoly, the data analytics, is because it's so difficult to assess how well is my TP doing, right? And instead of having disappointing results, how can you help them and check whether they prepared well? So obviously the 4 items that we previously discussed, you want to see a detailed plan, a breakdown of the different waves, which tools, which product strategy, and so on. I think another part is, as David also mentioned, like the preparation starts now. So there's, besides, the plan, it's also how do you prepare your store? It's a bit like Christmas shopping in New York, where you decorate your store in a way that you just really want to go in there. That's the same as with your online store, right? What kind of visuals can you use? What kind of videos? What kind of collaborations or chaos? So the preparation part is important. And we normally, we use our tool, the platform, to see our titles being optimized. Do we see changes in the titles? Do we see changes in the assets? How active are they? And it really depends on the TP that you're working with, and the size of your brand. Some TPs have a team dedicated to you. That really means that they should be working on a daily basis to prepare, to benchmark, to optimize, and others have more like a shared team setup where your team is shared with other brands, and then see how you at least get the attention you deserve. I think, these questions should be helpful.
Yep. Just adding on top of Daphne's answer, I would say, first of all, you can ask TP a very important question: when will they start to prepare? If they said it's October, then you have more confidence, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, you can ask them what are they doing right now and what is the key results they want to achieve, right, during the preparation stage. And thirdly, you can look at the result for September and October. As we said, the November's Double 11 result is basically a reflection of your sales in September and October. If you're reaching a good sales by the end of October, you will have a good opening in November, right? So you can evaluate on different dimensions.
Yeah, because the higher or the better you perform prior to Singles Day, the higher you are favored in the search results, because Tmall simply looks at your conversion rate and sees that if that's good, they will send more free traffic to you. So we have one of our clients that wasn't aware of that important preparation, and it was just focused on 618 on the June campaign. But because the preparation didn't help the build up, there didn't matter the amount of activities they did during the sales wave. The organic traffic that Tmall gave to them, the quality was very low, and therefore they didn't reach their goals. Yeah.
So another question here is about campaign tracker Is the campaign tracker kind of monitoring your TP, or is it something that works hand in hand?
I would say a bit of both. Ultimately, we don't want to be like a police officer looking at the TP over their shoulders, right? So because we acted as a TP before, we find it important to work together with the brands and the TP. But the campaign tracker is a tool that smoothens the communication and the collaboration. We had so many clients before helping us to translate the reports, even though they were in English. It was hard to understand. It had a lot of back-end screenshots. And so that's why we built Chaoly, to make it easier for people to see, for brands to understand the performance and the activities of the TP, but also for the TPs to use it to optimize the performance. And it saves them time for reporting purposes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do we have one more question or anyone here? No, because otherwise I would say we're almost already running over time. So yeah, I would say, well, on behalf of myself and David, thank you all for joining. We hope that it was insightful. We wish you all the best for Double 11.
Yeah.
Get ready to prepare and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.